You know, not everyone knows what they really want. And I was thinking about this topic this morning, and I want to come on and give you another way of looking at or helping you to discover what it is that you really want. So I'm going to start with this phrase. Your pain can be your progress. Your pain can be your purpose. Your pain can be your product. Your pain can be your possibility. And so I want you to really start to think about what you don't want. Because sometimes it'll make it easier for you to really connect with what you want when you start to look at what you don't want. When you start to look at areas of your life where you are really dissatisfied. Now, that may not be how you've been brought up. You might have been brought up in a family with parents or in an environment where you were always encouraged to be satisfied. You know, how often have you heard that saying, be grateful for what you've got? And you should always be grateful for what you've got, but you should never be satisfied. Dissatisfaction is actually a creative state. It's through dissatisfaction when we look at parts of ourselves, when you start to really look at parts of yourself where you're not satisfied, that's where you're going to find your opportunity for growth. In the pain of dissatisfaction, in the pain of getting results and experiencing situations and circumstances where you're not happy and you're not satisfied and you know you can be doing better, that's where you're going to find your opportunity for progress. That's where you're going to find your inspiration for growth. That's where you're going to find the possibility of a new future and a new you. So I want you to really remember that your pain, it can be your progress, it can be your purpose, it can be your possibility, it can be the start of a better future for yourself. Maybe you don't even want to look at that. Maybe you're too scared to even look at those areas where you think, oh, this is just, I'm not happy with this anymore, because the idea of changing it just seems too big. It just triggers overwhelm and anxiety straight away for you, the idea of actually changing and improving it. But what I have found is that, certainly in my case, anytime I have become aware of a beautiful goal for myself, something moving in a direction that's far beyond anything I've done before, it has stemmed from being dissatisfied with a result that I'd been accomplishing. Whether, let's take money for example. Maybe you're dissatisfied at the moment and with your income. You don't want to keep earning the amount of money you've been earning. You don't want your business results to continue at the same level they've been continuing at. And so you look at that result and you say, well, I don't want that anymore. I don't want this career anymore. I don't love this job anymore. What is it that you don't want? And start to look at these different areas of your life, of your business. I'm going to give you some examples of that. And hit pause for a second before you jump to what is it that you really want. You know, the whole first 2 weeks of my foundational coaching, all I get you to think about is what you want. But your motivation, your inspiration for connecting with that can be driven by your pain and inspired by your pain and the discomfort and the dissatisfaction of knowing that if I don't change something now and connect with this and use it to inspire me to drive me forward, I am going to be in the same position 12 months from now. And you will be if you don't let your pain drive you forward. So think about money. You know, what is it that you don't want anymore? You don't want to keep earning the same amount of money you've been earning. You don't want your sales to continue at the same level they have been at. Even sometimes when they're good, you can not want that anymore. Like, I have a great business. I have clients all over the world. I'm happy, I'm calm and relaxed. I'm living here at the Gold Coast next to the beach. But I don't want the results that I'm getting in my business anymore. I want better results. I want to help more people. So you can start to look at what you don't want. What about another area like relationships? What is it that you don't want in terms of relationships? What are the kind of people that you want around you? You know, what is it that you don't want? And this is a little bit of a shift for the mind, But I'm sure you'll be able to connect with this quite easily because you probably spend a lot of time thinking about the things that you don't want. Not enough time thinking about the things that you do want, or when you are thinking about the things that you do want, you haven't actually made a decision to do it, so it's kind of irrelevant, because that's the whole creative mind process that I need to teach you about. So what about relationships? What is it that you don't want in relationships? Where have you experienced pain in relationships before, where you know that you're not satisfied with that anymore, that you won't accept that anymore, and that you want to make a change? What about another area like your family? What is it that you don't want to continue to experience in your family environment? Maybe you are constantly in this state of trying to keep it all together and running the household and doing everything of the cooking and the cleaning and the organizing and the solving of the problems and the being everyone's punching bag. I don't know. What is it that you don't want to continue to experience in your family environment? That could be your motivator for change. What is it? Maybe there's an area that you feel angry about. An area of your life where you really feel angry. What is it that you don't want to feel angry about anymore? Did someone do you wrong? Did someone hurt you in the past? Are you holding or harboring anger towards yourself or something or someone else, a situation or circumstance? Maybe you don't want to feel that anymore. You don't want to feel anger and resentment. You don't want to feel frustration. And so that could be your reason and your motivator for change, to draw on that pain to say, I never want to feel like this again. I remember when I was in that hotel room in Doha, Qatar, and if you've watched Your Paradigm Power, you will have heard me talk about that story. When I was in that hotel room and I was on the other side of the world and I felt so alone and so lost, and I knew that I never wanted to feel like that again, and I would do whatever it was going to take to turn my life around, no matter what it cost, who I needed to work with, where they were in the world. I knew that I was never going to allow myself to feel like that again because I was so low. And so that was my pain at that point in 2014 was my reason for shifting. I know for you, maybe the pain or the state of overwhelm or busyness, you don't want that anymore. You don't know what you do want. That's not clear yet. The goal isn't clear. What the alternative would look like isn't clear. But you know you don't want that. You don't want to feel like you're in a constant state of overwhelm. You're busy. You're angry at yourself or somebody else. And so you don't want that anymore and you want it to change. So that is where you go. Really go in there, because that's going to give you everything you need to make the decisions and take the action that can change the course of your life. What about another area where you might be getting results that you don't want? What is another area for you? You could just put it in the chat right now. What is an area where you're currently creating results that you don't want? And put it in the chat, and that might also help other people that are watching this think about areas where they might be getting results that they don't want or that they're not happy with anymore. So the whole point of this exercise is to actually look at the areas that you're dissatisfied with. The whole point of this exercise is to get you to think about the areas that you're experiencing pain and discomfort, that you want to change, that you're not happy with, because that can be and will be your greatest motivator for really shifting. And then what we're going to do as you work with me is I'm going to take your focus off that and put it on something entirely different and teach you how to change your life with it. Another area could be your business or your career. I know we've touched a little bit on this, but I shared a post in my winner's circle earlier today. If you're not in my winner's circle, make sure you come and join me. But I shared a post in there that, people are getting up. It's Monday morning and going to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. A lot of people stop growing. They stop stretching for things. They stop going after anything and they become satisfied and settled, and the growth stops. So maybe you don't want to be in the career or the job that you're in anymore. You don't know what the alternative is or what the next step is for you yet, but you know that you do not want what you're currently creating anymore. And so that can be your reason for making a committed decision to make a change and draw a line in the sand and say, all right, I'm in. Let's find a better way of doing this. You might not want the results you're creating in your business anymore. You might not want the level of sales that you're creating in your business. Like, you have to really look at that and say, this is not what I want anymore. I am not satisfied with this. And you have to be willing to go there and make that decision and create the change. No one else can do that for you. But I can honestly say that if you will draw on that, don't dwell on it, just notice what it is. Like, don't stay there, because that's just stupid, to stay in the pain and the overwhelm and the busyness. Like, notice it, accept it, realize that I don't want this anymore. This is painful for me. I'm not satisfied with this result. Get brutally honest with yourself and then change it. Make a decision to make a change and do it today. It is only what you do today that counts. You have 86,400 seconds today. Nobody cares about what you did last week, and no one cares about what you're going to do in the future. The only thing that is important is what you're going to do today. And it's the thoughts and the decisions that you make today that'll dictate the course of your life. So use your pain and discomfort and your dissatisfaction for growth. Use that to inspire change. Use that to support you in making the decisions. Use that as your point of support to be courageous enough to stand up for yourself and your life and start to create what it is that you do want. But if you don't know what it is that you do want at the moment, really get honest about looking at the areas that you're not happy about, and there you'll find your reason and your motivation for change. All right? Leave some questions on this post for me and I can pick them up later. Again, if you're not in my winner's circle and you would like to be, I'd like to invite you to join me in there. Have a look for the link wherever you're viewing this. And if you'd like to work with me, email support@karenbrook.com.au and we can get you all the details. Have a beautiful day. I'm Karen Brook. Bye.